Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna check another VR builds, but before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So, with the arrival of Ragnarok, we are able to do very busted things, especially against certain enemies. So, we can do the now perma stun, another kind of perma stun, using freeze, mind control, and slow. For the slow, you can use any character that actively that uses active skills, which inflict a slow. Perfect dodge like Kirara and Asagi are not going to help us because we're technically going to stop the enemy on its tracks, so it's not going to be a problem. So for this, you can use any kind of offensive formation because you don't need the damage reduction. So go for something offensive. In my case, I'm going for penetration. And let me show you. First of all, Phantasma. Phantasma is actually pretty decent on slow if you use blue. So I am using the Momochi weapon because I'm going to use Anne Rose because of the effect of the blue skill. So the Momochi weapon is going to give us value. Whatever weapon on the subslot, both 5 out of 5 plus 15, whatever Magatamas on the subslot, and on the main we have of course Anti-Human with Earth Element. For skills, we have Impaling Terror with Twister Dance and Slasher Horror. All of these are going to inflict a slow. 20% slow on 10 seconds, 20% slow on 10 seconds, 10% slow on 5 seconds. So yeah, that's really important. This skill has the damage multiplier on crit, so that's why we want to use Bride and a Rose. Hope you have her. And if not, don't worry, that supporter will get rerun for sure. So I have Arvilla over here, I have Bride and a Rose, and I have Mido Haruka. But let's say that you, for some reason, are still having trouble with keeping the enemy in its place. Well, you can just substitute the main supporter for Sakuya, because Sakuya every 41 seconds is going to be able to inflict slow to the enemy. Reduces enemy speed by 30% for 10 seconds. So yeah, guys, you can do that. You can be extremely oppressive with this build, trust me. Stats of the customs, stats of the stat training, and let's go with Oboro. Oboro is going to go red. Here she's using Skull Face, which of course is going to be the best weapon that you can equip, but there's no particular weapon that really helps in this case. You can also use the anti-human weapon if you're facing a human boss, so keep that in mind. So 4 out of 5 plus 15, 5 out of 5 plus 13 with whatever Magatamas, and anti-human water Magatamas on the main slot. Then we have no, not Carnage. I mean, preferably you put Hypnosis Seal. Hypnosis Seal is not that you're gonna use it if you're not gonna use it that much, but you don't want to be locked into Carnage Dance. If you want to change Hypnosis Seal for the basic enhancers, that's actually fine, because most of the time you're not gonna use Hypnosis Seal. Maybe at the start of the battle it's gonna be useful, but after that you're not gonna use Hypnosis Seal. Then Blooming Carnage, because it also provides a slow, and Wicked Slasher. Now we're gonna use Yukina to increase damage, Suzune to increase damage, and Shirayuki to increase damage, and the active also inflicts a slow. 40% on 10 seconds, so that's pretty good. But you can also use Spinel. Spinel is a great option because of course it's going to increase the damage of the whole party because we're using only demons, and it also has a farm of a slow, 100% slow, so yeah, that's going to help out. Lastly, we have Ragnarok. Ragnarok is the most particular of the bunch, and you're gonna see why. So we have the pack weapon, but I mean, this is the best for VR, but you don't actually need this one. You can go with whatever weapon. Even a beat stick is fine, because the enemy is not going to move. We're just going to delete it. whatever weapon on the sub-slot, 5 out of 5 plus 15, this one 4 out of 5 plus 15, whatever Magatamas, and on the main I have anti-human wind Magatamas. And this looks silly, but there's a reason for this. So, I'm using every triple color skill over here, except of course the one that mixes the colors, Icicle Zone. Why I'm not using Icicle Zone if it's so good? Because the enemy is not going to move, it's not going to attack, so it will be a waste of a slot. I cannot use Absolute Zero because I am using Snowstorm, and that uses the same command. I really wish I could, but I am not. So why am I using the pure colors skills? Because all of these freeze with their hits. That's why they inherently do this. Even if you don't get the other benefits, they have the freezing capability, and the idea is to keep the enemy in place. So that works. Then, over here I have Sora to increase range damage, and I have Nano to increase range damage, and I have Misaki to increase my damage. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty aggressive. Stats of the customs, stats of the stat training. Did I show you Oboro's? Stats of the customs, stats of the stat training. Yeah, in any case, we're gonna do this on step 60 because this is where I am, or well, where I was auto farming. So let's do it. Let's do it. It's gonna be extremely easy. The enemy is not going to do anything at all, and that's the idea. That you just take advantage of this. Unfortunately, it is not something that you're gonna be able to do everywhere, because there's enemies which have some form of counter for this specific strategy. None of their counters is perfect, but there are things that you need to take into consideration. That's all I'm saying here. So, for example, Queen Arachne has a debuff reduction, debuff duration reduction. So all these debuffs are not gonna last as long, but there's so many sources of debuff that it doesn't really matter in her specific case. In the case of LW's squad, you can use this, but all the slow is not going to be effective. So the red supporter, either Shirayuki or Spinel, is not going to work. Blooming Carnage is not going to work, and your slower is not going to work against LW's squad. In the case of, let's see, Queen Kanaloa. No, Queen Kanaloa is super dead with this one. If you're using it against Worm Knight. Worm Knight has that effect that for a part of the battle while Lina is alive, you're not going to be able to inflict debuffs onto the enemy. So yeah, this strategy doesn't work against that specific enemy. And we also have, what's the name? Thank you. Yeah, Thank You resets the debuff. It just gets a cleanse every 10 seconds, which doesn't matter. You have so many sources that you can actually just beat him and make him unable to do anything against you. It just works, guys. It just works. So yeah, and on VR, no, not VR, on Total War, we have Edwin, which has immunity to mind control. So basically, there are 3 challenging content enemies that you cannot use this strategy with. That's gonna be LW's squad, which gets a little bit of diminished value out of this strategy due to the slow immunity. Worm Knight, which has a third of the battle, which is going to be immune to debuffs, and this strategy is not going to help you. And we also have Edwin on Total War, which is immune to mind control. You can do the slow, yes, but the combination of the 3 things is what make this really busted. So yeah, be sure to try it, guys. It's extremely easy to beat any boss with this strategy. And while I am using this limited supporter, it doesn't really matter, honestly. What you want is just those color effects, slow, just because you have blue supporters. And over here, do I have limited equipment? Yeah, this again doesn't matter. What matters is stopping the enemy and making it unable to move. This is also limited, but again, you can change it for anything. Even Trajir is fine. So just put the most aggressive gear that you have onto your characters and use those combination of skills. The skills are what allow you to just defeat anything but LWS Squad, Warrior Knight, and Edwin on Total War. So keep that in mind. Avoid those targets. Anyways, I hope you find this useful. That's gonna be it for today, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!